Greetings and welcome to this further explorations within the Universal Laboratory. And today we're going to discuss your quality of consciousness and how that impacts the experiments within the Universal Laboratory. And let me just start this off, this particular experiment in consciousness, by apologizing to those sensitive listeners who, if by chance they saw the video that I made yesterday with the substandard laboratory equipment. It was a kind of a cheapo microphone, and it was creating these sort of sound pops, if you will. And I trust that this particular laboratory instrument that I have here, it's a Shure 58, PG 58. Bon Jovi told me that this was a very good microphone, so I'm going to go with it for today's Universal Laboratory experiment. And by way of apology, I want to provide a sound bath that will cleanse the sonic atmosphere of any residual discordia that may be looming about from yesterday's substandard Universal Laboratory experiment because of substandard equipment. So this sound bath is meant to clear that discordia that perhaps may have resulted. All right, so, and that is a frequency of F note. I forget the exact frequency, maybe like 528 or something. So anyway, for those more dialed in laboratory participants. So getting right down to it, the quality of consciousness, your quality of consciousness, and why it matters. Because listen, there are certain of us, certain humans, who are gods, and others are savage beasts. Yet civilization renders them brothers, for the divine law wishes the redemption of all inferior natures, which is an evolution of matter and souls towards the eternal light. And this is why the quality of your consciousness, which is under attack, there is a war on consciousness every day. And the quality of your consciousness is vital, because in the visible world, in this 3D world of harmonic universe number one, as in the invisible, the good attracts the good. So you can see in our society, Elon Musk or somebody like that, I don't know who you esteem. I esteem Sadhguru, Paramahansa Yogananda. These types of these saints, generally, who they're surrounded by is aspirants, people who with good hearts that are meaning. Now, not to say that Sadhguru or Paramahansa Yogananda would not go into around thieves or murderers and share their temperament, share their consciousness, their quality of their consciousness to elevate, because we do know through the Maharishi experiment where they took meditators, transcendental meditators, and put them into high crime areas, and they saw over time with consistent transcendental meditation and the vibrations of consciousness, the qualities of consciousness, as they raised, it began to impact the environment. So the crime went down and everything else. There was a general quality of improvement in that particular ley line grid where these transcendental meditators, because in the visible world, as in the invisible, the good attracts the good. And in the society of men, the affinities of temperament, your consciousness, your culture, your education, the tendencies, your habits, your passions, if you're still caught up in the lower animal nature, resemble the individuals concerned. So like attracts like. And in the invisible world, the law is identical. Think about the level of intellectual synthesis of the people around you. All men are equal in their potential, as all flowers are flowers. However, there are certain flowers. The chrysanthemum is not the wild poppy, and the white lily is not a purple rose. So certain men are gods, certain people are gods, and others are savage beasts. But we must all live together, and it is incumbent of those who have awakened and have an improved quality of consciousness. It is vitally important to share that with the world, to begin in your own way, to begin to share your own quality of consciousness in whatever way you can. And furthermore, when you understand the power of your consciousness, I'm talking about the ability of the thoughts that you have, which are comprised of energy, your consciousness to impact the world around you. Because here's the prescription necessary to enter the world of the occult. Okay? Occult, that may have particular negative connotations or negative baggage and meaning, purport, is not evil. Occult simply means obscured or hidden, that which is hidden. And there's a very real reason to state it not so eloquently. There is a reason why all of this has been hidden, why you are dumbed down, why the quality of your consciousness is constantly under attack by substandard zombie-like entertainment to keep you trapped in animal passions, to keep you focused in your smartphone, constantly being a consumer rather than a creator. This is because your consciousness is powerful, and the occult and the powers that be, the powers at the top of the pyramid, the eye, all-seeing eye at the top of the triangle of the pyramid, there's a reason why all of the power of your consciousness has been hidden and purposely obfuscated to keep you dumbed down. Because listen, the occult, I'm going to give you another definition of it. Think of the occult as the revelation of the power of your consciousness and ability to impact the world around you, of the higher harmonic universe number 2, to impact, to create within harmonic universe number 1, dimension 3. Your fifth dimensional focused consciousness and the ability to create that in the harmonic universe number 1. Yes, the emanations of the higher spirit. So if they can keep your consciousness trapped within the digital matrix, within the virtual reality headsets and metaverse, where you're tied up to the orgasmatron and you're constantly being drained of your energy and never ever having the chance to be a creator, well, that is the occult. So simply think of the occult as the quality of your consciousness. Because listen, here's the prescription necessary to enter the world of the occult. To be adorned by the virtues. The virtues. I've made a video in previous universal laboratories talking about the 12 universal laws and then dialing it in, just being aware of the 12 universal laws and how that works. The virtues, being adorned by the virtues further, can be more specifically realized as the Noble Eightfold Path. A previous Universal Laboratory edition focused on the Noble Eightfold Path. Right speech, right action, right awareness, all of this as being pillars to have a purified consciousness. Your alignment, the quality of your consciousness, being adorned by the virtues, which lead to a purified consciousness to desire the good for source, for God, for oneself, and for others, and not to be tempted by base things, nor to be evil. That is the prescription right there necessary to enter the world of the power of your consciousness, of the world of the occult. Now, Rudolf Steiner, a great metaphysician, a great intellect, a great spiritual master, said that for every gain, for every one step in spiritual science, when your quality of your consciousness has assimilated a law of spiritual science, there must be 3 equal steps taken in ethical science. Meaning, If you gain a certain quality of consciousness, like for example, I had a Kundalini activation and it completely changed my world. And that was back 2 years ago, in September 24th of 2021. I'm telling you, I had my 40 days in the desert. The devil and all of the lower, the digital matrix, all of that, sent all of its non-player characters to get me off my path, to use that quality of consciousness in a non-productive way, a non-purified way, so thus to dissipate it. Because think about it, you awaken, as an awakened individual, you're an enemy, you're a threat to the digital matrix, to the powers that be that want to keep everybody dumbed down. So yes, that is a true spiritual law, that as you get closer to God, as you grow in the light, you attract the enemy. And that's why, yes, spiritual workers, light warriors, what have you, are under attack right now. Because the powers that be, however you want to call it, the dark cabal, they're going for broke right now. They want to get everybody worried about the end of the world, World War III, blah, 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 all that. But that is an attack on your consciousness. And that is why it's vitally important to understand the power of your consciousness and to protect it and preserve it. And you will be attacked. And I'm telling you, when I had my Kundalini awakening, I had my 40 days in the desert where the devil was throwing everything at me one way or another to get me off the track, to get me, back into my old ways. No, but I realized intuitively as part of that awakening that was a gift, that was a treasure to be preserved. And no less than the CIA, I'm talking about the Central Intelligence Agency, has this to say. And this is from a document, from a Central Intelligence Agency Gateway document, talking about the consciousness, that human consciousness is able to separate from physical reality. Okay? And the more consciousness that an individual possesses, the more that you are aware, the more that you are able to maintain your reality as you deem fit. And since consciousness exists quite apart from and outside of reality, beyond the bounds of time and space, it, like the absolute, has neither beginning nor end. Reality has both a beginning and an end. Talking about harmonic universe number 1 reality of the physical dimension. Because it is bounded within time and space. But the fundamental quantum of energy and its associated consciousness is eternal. So the part of you that you choose to identify with, if it's your consciousness, you are identifying with your source connected quality within you that is eternal. Okay? So when reality ends, its constituent energy simply returns to infinity in the absolute. And this is why the quality of your consciousness ultimately matters. Because having ascertained that human consciousness is able to separate from physical reality, and this is coming from the CIA Gateway document, and interact with other intelligences in other dimensions within the universe, and that it is both eternal and destined for ultimate return to the absolute, we are faced with the question, so what happens then? Here's why the quality of your consciousness and what you're engaged in this world matters. Since memory is a function of consciousness and therefore enjoys the same eternal character as the consciousness which accounts for its existence, it must be admitted that when consciousness returns to the absolute, to source, to God, it brings with it all the memories it has accumulated through experience in reality. Okay? The return of consciousness to the absolute does not imply an extinction of the separate entity which the consciousness organized and sustained in reality. Rather, it suggests a differentiated consciousness which merges with and participates in the universal consciousness and infinity of the absolute without losing the separate identity and accumulated self-knowledge which its memories confer upon it. So, your consciousness right now, your sense of self, that objective sense of self, to put it one way, is eternal. And that is what the war is upon, is your consciousness in that sense. And I think I need another sound bath here. Okay, but anyway, the quality of your consciousness is is integrated with the quality of your life, obviously. So, if you have turmoil and tumultuousness currently in your life, look at what's in your environment, because there are those among us who are living as gods, and there are those among us who are living as savage beasts. However, we are all in this together. There's no judgment. There's no spiritual ego, because our civilization is dependent upon us understanding each other as brothers and sisters. For the divine law wishes the redemption of all inferior natures, which is an evolution of matter and souls towards the eternal light. If you agree, please hit the subscribe button, leave this video a thumbs up, and again, I apologize to all those who had to endure the audible sonic pops from yesterday's video presentation, information dissemination from the Umbanda New Earth, asking for compassion, strength, and quality of consciousness. Namaste. Namaskara. That's a wrap? Is that a wrap, Martin Scorsese? Okay, cool. Thanks.